The fake online left's failed comedian, garage-dwelling tyrant, bigoted martini drunkard, Jimmy Dore, went on a Pat David Valuetainment podcast alongside Tim Pool, and he basically threw away everything that he said he stood for. In this video, we're going to cover that and also explain to you why it was so hypocritical that he would go on this show and all of a sudden not know a thing about Palestinians or Hamas or Israel or Israeli apartheid and other things that he's talked about so passionately with others.
See, they tried to shut me down and squelch me. They made me trend on Twitter negatively, but they couldn't shut me up.
But first, my name is Tim Black, and if you're into political content that comes from a black man, from a black perspective, with a black wife who drives a black car, who ain't afraid to give the establishment a black slap, you're in the right place. Subscribe now. So here goes the clip that will make your eyes run if you are a Jimmy Dore supporter. Sucks to be you. Because Jimmy Dore exposes himself to be what we always knew he was. A grifter, a con artist, and an advocate of convenience.
What Bibi Netanyahu has done is sort of recognize, I'm never going to make peace with these guys. You know, it started with the Oslo Accords with Yitzhak Rabin and Yasser Arafat under Clinton in '93. And they've been trying to make peace with these guys forever. Hamas does not want peace. Think about saying, well,
hold on. I know this can't be true. This can't be real. Jimmy Dore's not jumping up right now and saying something. He's not cutting off Ben Stiller. He's going to sit here and let Ben Stiller talk and say this nonsense about Hamas doesn't want peace. Now, Hamas wants you to leave them alone and let them have their land back. That's what they want. I'm not saying the tactics were correct, but come on, what are the tactics when you're in jail, when you're being overtaken, when you are being occupied and living under an apartheid state? Oh, come on, Jimmy. I know you got something to say, Jimmy. This is crazy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you guys off. I'm going to let it play. I'm going to be over here biting my tongue, letting this play out, okay?
saying to me. So Israel, you know, love them or hate them, whatever you want to say to them, they have the right to defend themselves. That's the whole thing.
Jimmy, how should the U.S. react to this? How should the U.S., how should Biden, how should the President of the United States react to this?
You know, I'm not an expert on Palestine-Israel relations. I don't know how I don't think it's ever going to be resolved. I don't see, you know, at first I thought a one-state solution was the best thing, but that's never, and then I thought just two-state. And so I really am not the guy to talk to about this. But I do know that Israel has been bombing Syria and no one gives a shit. And so they're just allowed to do whatever they want. I know they have a nuke. And so, but it's good to hear that Saudi Arabia and that they're starting to make peace. I don't understand why the other Arab countries, and I need it explained to me, why they don't do something about Palestine and why, you know, in the Gaza Strip. Where is their responsibility to this?
And I'm no Israeli-Palestinian expert, but I've been there a bunch, and I know people, and I have friends, and this is, you know, Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. It's not even close.
I think the Palestine-Israel is a different conflict than all the other conflicts, right? So Ukraine, Russia, China, these are all provoked by the United States.
For 10 years, Jimmy Dore has been spraying like a garden hose, talking about Israel as an apartheid state. Well, looks like somebody didn't pay their water bill. The guy goes on the Pat David podcast and suddenly he forgets his own talking points. I'm not saying he's being paid to shut up, but the last time I saw somebody zip their lips this quick, I was in a movie theater trying to open up a bag of chips. I mean, damn, son. You just could have finished your sentence before you decided to sell out. But for real, I don't see why everybody's changing their tune on Jimmy. I mean, one day he's a scumbag, and people love him. And the next day he's a scumbag, and people don't love him. I don't get it. The wildest part to me was when he said he's not an expert on Gaza.
You know, I'm not an expert on Palestine-Israel relations, so I really am not the guy to talk to about this.
He's also not an expert on reparations, but that didn't stop him from saying that black people shouldn't get them. He said that black people were too divisive to ask for reparations. But he's got nothing to say here about the Jewish community. Interesting. Jimmy, he's also not an expert on the black prophetic tradition. I don't know if you could tell her that. But that didn't stop him from telling Dr. Cornel West to save all this black talk for when he's at home. Don't take it with him on the campaign trail. Yeah, Jimmy was telling a black man, a black Christian, an orator, a philosopher, an activist, not to talk about black issues. That's like a fish telling a bird not to fly. Jimmy had absolutely no pushback on his panel when it came to the false narrative spewed by Ben Stiller and Pat Bet-David. He just flowed like a mighty river, right along with whatever they were talking about. He gave them no resistance at all. It's almost as if he was into it. I mean, America's giving Israel billions of dollars every year. Give them all the arms they want and all the backup they want. And Jimmy doesn't mention it once. But a bad time to find your mute button, Jimmy. Real talk. He's made a career out of getting loud and yelling and spitting at the camera. But when it comes to standing up for the Palestinians and calling them straight on this other platform in front of more people, all of a sudden, he ain't got nothing to say. And the worst part about this isn't even Jimmy. I mean, I knew this about Jimmy. I knew he was a grifter and a sellout and a faker and a person definitely out just to line his own pockets. I called that a long time ago. It's the sycophants who won't even call him out for it, won't say a mumbling word. I'm not saying his friends are afraid to tell him that he's wrong, but they'd rather jump off a cliff into a lake of fire than confront him. Yeah, they're afraid of this guy. I don't know why. That's right, money. Jimmy's like a whale. These guys like the parasites that ride on the whale and eat the crumbs off of him. Those crumbs are like criticism. They keep him healthy and strong. And Jimmy's black friends, they're the worst. Yeah, they're not even friends. They're like field hands, slaves. Jimmy owns more niggas than Thomas Jefferson. You want me to do something else for you, boss? How are we doing today, boss? You want me to go after Tim Black today, boss? Sure, I'll do it, boss. You ain't even got to ask me. I already did it. Jimmy should change the name of his podcast from the Jimmy Dore Show to Candyland, like in Django. Yeah, Jimmy Dore is Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm Jamie Foxx. And which one of you sellout Negroes is Steven? Accept reality, this is a horrible clip. Jimmy's been talking about Palestinian rights in Gaza. He's been making a lot of money off talking about those issues. And now he just wants to be the Ukraine guy or the jab guy. When's it going to be just got to accept reality? Whatever makes more money for Jimmy, that's the position he's going to take. For years, Jimmy's been ranting and raving about people going soft on politicians. This guy goes on a non-politician show and is afraid to interrupt the room. He's afraid to call it straight about a country that's been occupying people. And Jimmy's quiet. And the rest of you that are scared to say something about it, your silence speaks volumes. But I can't read them. Your silence is golden, but not in a good way, sellouts. But you know what, for real? Your silence is the best answer you can give. Because you're nothing. You're less than nothing. Yeah, all this time you people been using Jimmy Dore like he was your meal ticket. Well, looks like he's out of tickets. But that's it, guys. My name is Tim Black of The Tim Black Show. If you like this content, subscribe to this channel. Remember, like I always say, don't let nobody take your cornbread. Oh, and don't be a sellout. When they say why, tell them it's a new day.